Hello everyone and welcome back to the Downsized Dream Cars YouTube channel, where today we're going to be taking a look at these two new models that I have added to my collection a couple of days ago. These models were made in a collaboration between Schuco and Tarmac Works, and these are actually my very first Schuco models, so I'm really excited to see how they stack up in terms of quality and detail compared to other brands in my collection. If you've got a very keen eye, you can see that we've got a pair of Porsches today. And without further ado, let's get right into the review. These are the models that we will present today. On the left, we've got a Porsche 911 RSR 3.8, and on the right, we've got a Porsche 911 GT2. The RSR 3.8 is the 964 generation of Porsche 911, and the GT2 is the 993 generation of Porsche 911. As I said, these models were made in a collaboration between Schuco and Tarmac Works. Since there's two of them, I am going to first present the package and then I will take them out and present them for some closer shots. Starting off with the most interesting one, at least for me, the GT2. The packaging is really nice on this model, on both of them actually. It's part of the Collab 64 line from Tarmac Works. You've already seen the back. We've got a license here from Porsche. Let me make sure it actually focuses on it. Whoop. There we go. It is a limited production run, which means that these models will never be made again in this configuration. You've got another license right here. It is made out of die-cast metal and plastic parts. And we've got some more information right here about Schuco, their social media, and the Tarmac Works social media. This is the model. It is white and it's in 1/64 scale. I'm sorry. Now taking a look at the 964, it's got a little bit of a different background. It is also part of the Collab 64 lineup from Tarmac Works, and it's also licensed and it's a limited production run. We've got the same information here, and I think these two white Porsches go perfectly together. That's exactly why I chose them. So yeah, I will be back. I'm going to take them out of the packaging and we will take a closer look at them. Okay, we are back and the models are out of the packaging. A couple of things that I forgot to mention, because these models are made by Schuco and Tarmac Works. Each of them contributed with some things to these models. Schuco provided the cast, which means the bodywork of the car, and the aerodynamic bits like the plastic spoilers, and the wings, and the lights, and the interior bits, and the glass. And Tarmac Works made the wheels and the tires, and the packaging, of course, and the printed details such as the emblems and the badges. Also side markers and all the other details we will get into. So yeah, we are going to be starting off with the 993 right here. Let me make sure it focuses on it. Hopefully it will. Okay, there we have it. Starting off with the base. What do we have here? Well, would you look at that? This is a Schuco model. It's a Porsche 911 993 GT2. It is made in China and it's 64 scale, and we've got a lot of detail under the car, which of course the most evident is of course the engine, which is in the rear. You can see the exhaust headers, the oil pan, the exhaust pipes and the turbos right here, and the tips. You can also see the front and rear subframes and the gearbox. It's a lot of detail, and the base is actually made of metal. Also, before we move on to the front, it's also held together by 2 screws, which is very nice. You can take it apart. Now, moving on to the front, there we have it. We have a lot of vents. We have 2 vents right here in the lower section of the front bumper and 2 in the upper, which are actually deep. You can see right there, which is very nice. We've got a tow hook right in the middle with red. And we've got some other vents right here at the end of the bumper on the splitter. We've got some plastic headlights, which are very nice. I should actually zoom in to take a closer look. Whoa. There we go. So as I said, these are plastic headlights. What you see is behind the lens, which is very nice, so there's no printing on the lens. You've got some orange side markers here and here, which, I mean, they're printed on, but they're alright. They could have been better. You can see this one is a little bit misplaced, but well, what can you do? That's what happens with printing, really. On the hood, we've actually got the Porsche badge, 2 hood latches, actually 4 hood latches, and this is where the car would usually get its fuel, obviously because this is a Porsche and the fuel cell would be in the front. This is where the tubing would go, so the teams could actually fill the gas tank right here. And you've also got a vent right here. Moving on to the windshield, you can see that we've got a molded in windshield wiper, which is actually pretty thick, and from the side it looks, well, less than satisfactory, but it is black, I guess, so that's a plus. And the glass is very clear. You can very easily see inside. We've got some indicators right here. This would be the switch, the quick shut off switch in case of an accident. And yeah, we've got the roof, which nothing's going on there. So I guess we should move to the left side of the car. Obviously, these cars came from factory with BBS LM wheels, which are very nice. Both of the models actually feature those wheels, and I can say they are pretty nice. These are plastic wheels with rubber tires. The tires are slicks, so no thread on them. The mirrors are actually casted into the body, but they are of fairly good quality, which I really like. So you won't be able to snap these off, which is a relief actually. On the driver's side window, we can see the little window that the driver can open when he is at the pits, which is really nice. We've got some black trim around here, and of course we have to mention, this being the GT2 variant, has the very nice wide body kit, which is riveted on, but in some places the paint is a tiny bit too thick, and it actually covers some of the rivets. Take a look here, for example, that body line is completely covered by paint, which I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but it would have been great if it wasn't so thick on here. If I'm not mistaken, we've also got a silver handle right here, a silver door handle, and we can see that we've got a roll cage inside. Moving on to the rear, we can see that we've got a very big rear spoiler mounted on this lid right here. The badging says 911 GT because this model, the 993 GT2, actually competed in the GT1 class at Le Mans. So it's really interesting that they put just 911 GT on there. But yeah, we've got the tailpipes right here, an inserted common piece for the tail lights, which actually says Porsche on there, which is quite nice, and another red tow hook. And of course, this being the last air-cooled generation of the Porsche 911, we've got the vents right here above the engine, which is really nice. They are actually painted black, but they are very well painted. I can't really see them to be misplaced. And also, before I forget, we've also got two intake holes right here and right there for the engine, which is really nice. Moving on to the right side, it is just like the left, of course. Nothing really changed here except the fact that this actually does not have a passenger seat. You can see it's all white inside because the interior has been stripped because it's a race car, of course. We've got some fire extinguishers in there, and of course the driver's seat, which is very nice, and the steering wheel and the dashboard. It's bare to the bones inside, which of course it's a race car, it has to be. But the roll cage is very nice, I can say that for sure. And of course the plastic used for the glass, it is also impressive, and it does not distort all that much. The only downside I can see on this model is that some of these details, such as the badge right here, the signals right here, and yeah, and the tow hooks are not actually, separate pieces or shiny metallic stickers or inserted plastic lights. But I mean, for the price I paid for this, it stacks quite well against Mini GT, for example. So yeah, it's really nice. I'm a very big fan of the 993 generation of Porsche, especially the GT2. So yeah, it's really nice to have this model in my collection. Let's move on to the 964, which is the generation before the 993. Once again, let's take a look at the base. This is also a Schuco model. It is a Porsche 911 964 RSR, made in China, and it's 1/64 scale, held together by two screws. And we can see the engine, the exhaust headers, the muffler, and the tips right here, which is very nice. A little bit less of detail on the underside of this, but I mean, come on, the party is on top, isn't it? In the front, we've actually got a very long intake in the bumper. We've got printed tail signals, and we've got two more holes in the bumper for what I assume to be brake airflow, so they cool down. The headlights, once again, are plastic lensed, but this time it has a printed on surround, which is actually black, which makes it look interesting. I quite like that. The hood has two latches right here and right here, opposed to the four latches on the GT2. Once again, the fuel ports right here, and the Porsche badge, and of course the vent right there. This one doesn't have the windshield wiper right smack dab in the middle of the windshield, Instead, it has two smaller ones, which are actually part of the windshield, and they are printed black. But this time around, we get a Porsche banner right here, which looks rather cool. I really like it. Moving on to the side, once again we've got molded in metal mirrors, a printed side marker, of course, a black door handle, black trim around the window, a cage inside, and this is a more stock body version of the 964 because obviously it did compete in some racing leagues, but it did not compete way back when this car actually competed in races. This did not compete in like Le Mans and higher competitions. In the rear we've got Carrera written right here and RSR. The whole boot lid, I guess you could call it, is held by two quick release pins. And this is also an air-cooled Porsche, which means that we get these vents right here, right over the engine, and we get this awesome looking spoiler, which I'm such a fan of, because look, it's actually passing air through there, so the spoiler is actually a separate piece. Very nice. Porsche written on the taillights, which is very, very cool. The exhaust tips, although they are a solid rod kind of piece, I kind of wish they were like a muffler where they would have a hole inside, so it gives the exhaust more depth. But this is how Schuco makes these exhausts for the Porsches, at least for these. So yeah, moving on to this side of the car, it's pretty much the same as the other. Black trim, do a black door handle, metal rear view mirror, and yeah, the whole car has this very nice kind of black uh, aero pieces, like black side skirts, black front bumper skirt, and in the rear some valances. Of course, this is all white inside because the interior is stripped on this one as well. We've got a very nice roll cage in there. This one doesn't seem to have a painted fire extinguisher, but I can see one right there. And the driver's seat, which is a bit different from the 993 model, the steering wheel and the dash. Just the essentials, because these were actual race cars, so that's very, very nice. Yeah, what more would there be to say about this? It really stacks up to the likes of Mini GT and these like entry-level premium brands, I guess, these two models. And I'm quite pleased with how Schuco made these. They're quite nice, and you know, obviously it's awesome to have them both in white in my collection because they just match together so well. Now, of course, I have some reference pictures so we can see whether or not these are actually accurate to the real cars. Let me just bring my phone right here. Ooh, that's kind of close actually. I will just hold it in my hand. Let me turn down the luminosity. Whoa, there we go. Now it's better. So this is the 993 one. And I would say it looks fairly similar. You know, you can definitely see the BBS LMs on there. We've got this side as well. Yep, there you go. You've got the rear, which is quite a close shot, but we can get some good looks at it. Just look how wide those over fenders were on them. That is actually crazy how wide they are. But of course, to be able to fit such wide tires in the rear, you need to widen the quarter panels. And man, it just looks awesome. And this is actually the 964 Porsche. Again on the BBS LM wheels in gold. This is a very not cool picture. Oh man, something happened and the pictures got messed up. But I guess we can still work with them, right? I sure hope so. Yeah, I really should have checked better before I made the video, but oh well. You live and you learn, right? Yeah, it looks like the real thing, in my opinion. So yeah, the paint is actually a bit thinner on this, on the 964, because, well, you can see the body lines much more clearly and they are not as, filled in by the paint. So I guess that's really good. That's very nice. Wow, just look at that fitment. Doesn't it look great? And those wheels go so well on the white. It is awesome. Absolutely awesome. But yeah, I don't know if I mentioned or not, but these models are held in by a screw on the cardboard base in these boxes. And again, I must give a compliment to Tarmac Works for these packages because they look so good and they are so displayable in my collection. It's really a very nice design. So yeah, I'm really glad I got them. And I guess this would do it for this video, right? So if you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to see the next videos, and don't forget to leave a comment because it helps the algorithm and I would like to know what you guys think about these models. Would you buy them or would you pass them and buy something else instead? Make sure to let me know. And until next time, bye bye.